Continue our conversation, disrupted as it was, with the MK spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndhlela. Nhlamulo, sorry about that disruption. You were explaining how you believe the ANC never had a case.
No, sorry about this disruption. Probably load shedding somewhere. Yes, we've always said that that is the case with this inept leader of the uMkhonto-led government and party. Even a stalwart amongst their ranks said so, but in the form of Mavusa Msimang. But Mavusa stated clearly that when he resigned initially, that this man is just not up to the job. So it has now, through the court process, been proven that he's totally inept and is totally scoring a lot of own goals, which we are happy to take.
Okay. This judgment was first going to be delivered yesterday. It was then delayed and handed down today. Fairly late yesterday, you released a statement claiming that the ANC was trying to manipulate the Electoral Court. You won this case hands down. It was unanimous. I mean, do you still believe the ANC was trying to manipulate the Electoral Court?
No, well, we know that the Electoral Court in this case, we've always believed and trusted that the process will be followed. Would be that is just transparent and fair and within the law and without any eyes. But we know that there are attempts of certain individuals to try and use their powers. As you would have seen already, they tried to create an impression that won the case and started a whole lot of propaganda. Again, natural politicking on their end. But, we held steadfast because we knew the case that we had argued was very solid, and that the outcome thereof would be exactly what you find today, being egg on their face and a win for us.
Okay, so you believe that the Electoral Court is up to the job, and you believe that the decisions that it made in this case and will make in the future will be based only on the evidence and the law. You will accept... Go on.
The reality is the following, Stephen. It was very easy. It was a very easy decision for the Electoral Court. Because this case was brought and presented to in the wrong jurisdiction. So again, own goal, not knowing what you're doing, playing a game that you quite honestly shouldn't be playing with people's lives and people's future, by trying to attack a political party that really stands for the people and is the only solution for the people, and by virtue of that, trying all sorts of frivolous attempts to try and derail a revolution that is inevitable.
Okay. There is another court case coming. It's not in the Electoral Court, but the ANC objects to you using the name and the trademark uMkhonto Sizwe. It'll be under a different aspect of law. The ANC may believe it has a slightly stronger case there. Are you worried about that?
No, we're not worried about that. Tomorrow we're actually going to be giving a lot of, including some of these leaders that have been talking about credentials of uMkhonto Sizwe. We'll be giving them a lesson in history about uMkhonto Sizwe. And, what's also clear to note and important here is, one, uMkhonto Sizwe, they, as the ANC then already, disbanded in 1993 uMkhonto Sizwe, the military wing. Under the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa, they then also disbanded the military veterans wing, which was the only home for, the soldiers that fought to liberate this country, and literally took them and put them in the bad dustbin. Now, when we take this beautiful animal, this beautiful catalyst of change, being uMkhonto Sizwe, and turn it into a party, now all of a sudden it's an issue. But more so, because this animal is being campaigned for by President Zuma. So when it comes to the logo and the infringement of rights, I mean, they're now wanting to claim something we've just polished.
Okay. Do you really think that people in their minds, voters, don't associate uMkhonto Sizwe with the ANC? I mean, don't the two, historically and now, in people's minds, run together? I mean, if I remember correctly, in fact, the first leader of uMkhonto Sizwe was from the ANC. I think you know who I'm talking about. But, I mean, isn't it true that in most voters' minds, they're from the same thing, MK and the ANC?
No, I mean, naturally, people would draw a parallel. But people who are voting on MK members, they know that this MK is not the ANC. This is an MK political party on which they stand for its principles. Our manifesto is going to be launched soon. I'm sure it has been doing some circles, which is the draft form of it, and it talks about the 8 pillars, and people believe in it. But also people know President Jacob Zuma. They know he's got referenceability in terms of what he's been able to deliver whilst he was a sitting president. And, the life under him versus life under Cyril Ramaphosa's government is totally worlds apart. So this is what people believe. They understand that this is a political party that is going to be led by people that don't need credentials, that are patriotic to this country, that want change and that want to emancipate the downtrodden people of this country. That is what uMkhonto stands for. And that's what people care about, not credentials.
Okay, maybe. We'll see what happens in the elections. Your number one candidate is, in fact, the former President Jacob Zuma. He was president for 9 years. As I understand it, do you believe he's legally allowed to go into Parliament?
Well, you and I are not lawyers, are we, Stephen? Again, I think what's important to understand about that list is the following, is that, we as the leadership did not want to participate in terms of appointing. And again, it does not necessarily mean that you're at the top of a list that, it's an aim of, it's based on priority or stature or, priority. No, it's a list. Number 1 happens to be President Zuma. It could have been number 5. But anyone can be selected from the list to become president. The impression that's been created as though because President Zuma, who was selected and chosen to be on that list by people, he's now no. If that's what people want, though, that's how it's going to be. If they want him to be president of this country, then that's what needs to happen. But we know that can only happen through, a 2/3 majority. That's why we're gunning for a 2/3 majority.
Okay, so you say you and I are not lawyers, and the reason I ask this, I think, Nhlamulo, you and I both know why I ask the question is that, as I understand the law, you cannot go into Parliament, in fact, you cannot go into any legislature, if you have been sentenced to a term in jail of more than 1 year in the last 5 years. We know that former President Zuma was, in fact, jailed to a term longer than 1 year, and it was sort of 3.5, 4 years ago now. So, as I understand the law, I'm not a lawyer, but I also know that in the 60 zone I'm not allowed to go past 60. So I would know, it would seem to me obvious that he would not be able to go into Parliament. So you would accept him not going into Parliament? You would accept that?
The people of the country that want President Zuma to be president will lead accordingly. Their voices will be heard, and legally within the legal framework. I think right now what's most important is, we're not legal egos, yourself and myself, and we should not necessarily debate it until the legal egos have actually sat and discussed it. But however, maybe something to highlight to you, Stephen, is I'm sure you've realized to date how surgical we have been and how surgical we'll continue to be. We have been very strategic in our approach. We have followed very strict strategy and execution, and we've executed it very well till today. That's why we're where we're at. So I don't think anyone should ever underestimate what we're capable of in terms of execution of strategy, whether it be politically or otherwise.
Okay, we'll see in the elections. Do you believe two-thirds
That's the second time you say that.
Well, probably not the last time in Nhlamulo.
Yeah.
Do you really believe a 2/3 majority is possible? Jacob Zuma is that popular. I realize he's very popular, but 2/3 majority when people have lived under him as president for 9 years already?
Look at what has happened in Russia. Look at what has happened in Brazil. President Lula came back from having gone through a very similar case to what President Zuma has gone through. The people wanted him back. He became president. So what's wrong with our country? The people want change. You cannot stop the mandate of the people. You cannot stop what ancestors of this country have always wanted, that the people of the country ought to participate. Today, what's very ancestral. So, reality is the following. We will carry forth that mandate. The people of this country who know President Zuma, who know what he's capable of, they will be the ones that will take him and make him president, if that's what they wish.
Nhlamulo Ndhlela, thank you. I'm afraid that phone line beginning to give up on us now, but I really do appreciate the time.